Oren thought about the consequences that might befall him if he returned to Earth and decided that he must do it. Oren figured someone was going to get punished for what happened to Veal, and Oren wanted to make sure that no one had to suffer something that was his own fault. From the way Blue explained it, it could be that robot Y310 that would get punished, although Oren somehow doubted the people of Earth would think to punish a robot. Oren, Cyana, and Blue all sat aboard the ship as it cruised at near light speed back to Earth. The ride went mostly in silence. Oren figured it was because they all knew what awaited them upon arrival. After half an hour, Blue made a phone call. Bring! Bring! We're about 2 minutes out, he said. Where are you? Oren couldn't hear what the other person said. He could only see Blue nod and pace around the ship. So Veal's not dead then? That's good. What do you figure your chances are? Such are the so-called accidents in such a capital-driven system. Blue shook his head. Well, look, Oren is coming back, and he says he's willing to take the heat for this. For my part, I'll see what I can do to get both of you out of this none the worse, although I can't make any promises. Where are you right now? Okay, we'll be there soon. Oren pieced together what was happening. Veal was alive, and he himself was probably going to go to jail, and prepared to land. Veal's medical bills came out to $600,000, said Y310. Cyana had paid for bail for both Oren and Y310. All three met up with Blue in Oren's house to discuss the path forward. And of course, Veal doesn't have any insurance that covers that, said Cyana. What do you mean? Asked Blue. The banana packaging factory doesn't offer insurance with a low enough deductible for Veal to be able to afford the surgery he'd need. Wait, so you let private companies decide what type of insurance you'll get? Asked Blue. Doesn't the government just give health insurance to everyone? There was silence for a moment. Well, never mind, said Blue. Why doesn't the factory just pay directly for the operation? Because when you work for the factory, said Oren, you have to sign a contract that says they're not responsible for on-the-job injuries. What about my insurance? Asked Y310. I don't think your insurance from Ryan will work here, said Blue. What about the insurance I bought here? Asked Y310. You bought insurance here? Asked Cyana. I figure you can never be too safe. Blue held up a hand. I feel like we're getting too bogged down with the money here. Shouldn't we be focusing on how we're going to help Veal and what's going to happen to Y310? The only thing that matters right now is the money, said Cyana. Everything starts and ends with money. Unless you know how to unbreak a person's body, then we need the money to pay for an operation for Veal. As for Y310, this is only a civil case, which means they're only after his money. It's money, said Blue. I'm sure Y310 would appreciate the proper pronouns. My apologies, said Cyana. All right, said Blue. So who exactly is after Y310's money? Veal? No, said Cyana. Veal's insurance company will want Y310 to pay for it since they consider it its fault. But I won't be paying for it, said Y310, because I also have insurance. Oren was trying to keep everything straight in his mind, and he finally thought he was putting the pieces together. So this is basically a battle between insurance companies? I guess that's the best way to look at it, said Cyana. And whoever the judge decides is at fault will have to pay? It's actually a jury trial, said Y310, but yes. And so, we basically just have to wait and see? Asked Oren. Wait and see, said Blue. Oren and Blue made their way to the bread cart. It felt different this time. Oren knew that they couldn't really just go back to selling bread now. Blue would have to go back to his home planet, and Oren didn't really see a way that he could run the bread cart all by himself. He also didn't really expect that he'd be hiring other people to help run the bread cart. Then he'd have to keep track of inventory, budgets, make sure people weren't stealing. It would be a lot of work for probably not a lot of money after all the expenses. There is one way to keep the bread cart alive, said Blue. How'd you know that's what I was thinking about? Asked Oren. Blue shrugged. Just a hunch. All right, I'll bite. How do you keep this thing alive? Didn't you learn anything back on Ryan? Oren thought about it. Have a robot run the cart? Here, said Blue, my gift to you. A small robot seemed to materialize into Blue's hand. Oren accepted it. It's not the most high-tech. You'll probably have to keep the cart stocked with bread yourself, but it can take care of all the actual selling for you. And then I just collect all the money? Oren asked, uncertain. Well, you wouldn't just want to leave it sitting there forever, I figure, right? Blue laughed. It just doesn't seem right to make money for doing nothing, said Oren. Well, does it seem right to spend half your waking life working? Still have to always worry if you have enough money, have no job security, and have to hope that when you're ready to retire, you'll actually have enough money to do so? It's just how things are, said Oren. Blue nodded. You know, Ryan wasn't always like it is now. There was some pushback when we first started to automate the economy. But I learned to look at it like this. If you give a man a fish, he eats for a day, right? Okay. If you teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. And if you build a robot to fish for the entire community, does everyone starve or does everyone eat forever? I guess everyone eats forever, said Oren. One day, your planet will get there too. And then you can say goodbye to all of them. Blue swirled his hand in the air, looking for a word. This. But what if there are some things I'm going to miss about this? Like what? Asked Blue. He seemed genuinely confused as to what anyone could possibly miss about the world as it was. I don't know if I want everyone to be the same. It's nice to think that you can try to succeed or fail based on your own ideals. I don't want everyone to be a Ryan. I thought the same thing once. But you see, one too many inheritance, baby millionaires, and then hardworking people without even a house to their name. And you, at least I, decided it just wasn't worth it. Better for everyone to be the same than see even one person who doesn't deserve it get destroyed by this system. Maybe, said Oren. He wasn't sure if he agreed completely. Maybe he just wasn't ready to. On Ryan, you would never have to worry about possibly missing the birth of your daughter because you didn't have a job or insurance. Rhea, said Oren. In all the chaos, he'd forgotten that she was going to be giving birth any day now, maybe even today. We have to get to Vio. Blue put his hands on Oren's shoulders. You have to get to Vio. I have a feeling I would be better served down at the courtroom. You have everything you need. Now go. Oren nodded and then made his way off the pier. Final destination, the hospital. Has the jury reached a verdict? Asked the judge. It had been a wild trial, all things considered. As if it wasn't enough to have a robot on the stand, it was also a little bizarre seeing a bunch of insurance reps making arguments about if a robot could be guilty for a crime, or if a company could really absolve itself of all responsibility for something like this. No, said a woman from the jury, we have not. You have not reached consensus? Asked the judge. That is correct. Then this is a mistrial. Prosecution may choose to try the case again at a later date. Dismissed. Y310 wasn't exactly sure what had happened. Its public defender started leaving without saying a word, so Y310 stopped him to get some clarification. "Well," said the lawyer, "the factory didn't want to pay for Vio's injury. Vio's insurance didn't want to pay for the injury, and your insurance didn't want to pay for the injury. So no one's going to pay." He shrugged. "For now, at least. Vio is going to get whatever surgery he needs, though, right?" The lawyer laughed. "I'm sure the doctors will keep him alive, but I don't think anyone will be going out of their way to do anything beyond that. I'd be surprised if Vio ever walks again. Not without dishing out some serious cash. They are going to retry the case, though, right? So Vio can get the money?" "I hope not," said the lawyer. "Then again, what do I care?" He shrugged and left. Y310 was technically free to leave. As soon as it found Blue, they could just go home and leave this all behind. But it couldn't just leave Vio after what it had done to him, albeit unintentionally. Y310 didn't have enough money to help Vio. It had actually already given up all the money it had earned in that factory, $950. But it had to at least visit him, let him know that it cared, and maybe somehow let him know there was more to life than money.